Hi, everybody, and greetings from Clasheen. Thank you so much for joining me and Shauna to learn more and help me celebrate the launch of the Eco Print and Wet Felt Club. It's open for membership for the next few days, but will close again then until the end of the year. So I would like to introduce Shauna again, looking absolutely gorgeous with a beautiful sea behind her. So if you've been with me for the private boot camp over the last 3 days, you'll know that Shauna is now in Greece. She started the weekend in Albania, she's in Greece now, and I'm in Ireland. So Shauna, if you could drop a comment, please, into the chat, just with a link to, if people would like to register for the boot camp, if they actually missed it, there still are a few days left to look at the recordings. And the boot camp was it was a free 3-day event that I hosted, and it was to share time-friendly tips for creating beautiful and sustainable textiles using the eco-printing in the Dirty Pot process. And I shared tips and step-by-step information about how to eco-print natural fabric, both protein-based fabric and cellulose fabric. And I also shared tips about how to make the process significantly break it down into small chunks and make it easy if you were short on time. And I also shared tips about wet felting and how to felt to print, and also gave a few suggestions for ways of splitting the process down if you don't have a lot of time. So today it's really about answering a few questions that have come in since the boot camp. And it's all about sharing the Eco Print and Wet Felt Club. And this is a way of getting inspired. It's for us to connect. It's about learning new processes, and it's about growing and developing and getting where we want to get faster. And I think that that's probably one of the biggest things about the club, because for those of you who did join the boot camp, and if you were on it, maybe you might drop a comment and let us know whether you enjoyed it or not. But I can only assume if you're here, you did enjoy the boot camp. And sharing knowledge online, I am finding, is a fantastic way of sharing my passion and helping other people have success, and sharing new techniques and helping them get the results that they want really, really quickly. Because I have many years of eco printing and wet felting experience. And trust me, I have had many disasters over the years, and I want to save you time. I want you to be able to achieve success right from the beginning when you start to eco print, as opposed to having to learn like I did, by trial and error, which is wonderful if you have time. But if you don't have much time, it's really great to be able to cut through all that. And so if you do have a drink with you, I'm going to just raise my glass and say the Eco Print and Wet Felt Club, which I will explain about now, it's open for new registrations until 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Monday. So if you are interested in joining me and Shauna, you need to make your decision quickly. So cheers, whether you have an alcoholic drink like my wine, or I think Shauna might have sangria, I think. And I know that some of you are in different time zones and you might have a coffee or a glass of tea. So cheers, and I will now explain a little bit about the club. And I'm also going to answer some questions that have come in overnight about the boot camp. People who were watching from Australia and New Zealand, primarily watching the recordings. And if you have a question for me today about the EcoPrint and Wet Felt Club, please just put 3 question marks in front and 3 behind. Ask it as a comment, and Shauna will be able to flag those for me so that I can see your questions. And if she actually replies to a question, her reply will look like I'm writing it, but in fact, obviously I am not. Shauna is writing it on my behalf. So, really nice. I can just see a message that Shauna has flagged, and it's from Jenny. She was saying she really enjoyed the class and she learned a lot, and the boot camp was wonderful. Oh my gosh, loved it. That's from Catherine. So thank you all so much for that lovely feedback. The more feedback we get when we host online events, the better we are able to deliver free content in the future and also improve paid content. So the thing is, the bootcamp offered about 1% of knowledge, and the EcoPrint and Wet Felt Club, that shares about another 99% of knowledge. And it is your way of connecting with me on an ongoing basis and getting my feedback and help about everything that you are doing. So I'm going to just run through these slides here, some of them, and then I'll share a little bit more of a step-by-step tutorial with you before I finish the slides. So I've designed this so that you can say goodbye to overwhelm, because there is so much information available online. Really, pretty much everything you need to know about eco-printing or wet felting is already available online. But the problem is you need to sift through so much information. You do not know whether the person who is sharing the information has experience, whether they have had success, or whether they can teach you how to have success. And the thing about the membership club is that you won't feel overwhelmed. There's loads of content in the club library, but I will help you go from where you are now, whether that's eco-printing or wet felting, where you are now, and get to where you want to go in the shortest and simplest time possible. This is not a race, but the idea of the club is that I can share ongoing information and support you so that I'm the person doing the experimenting and you are the person who is going to learn quicker. Now, I'm not expecting you all to read this small text, but something that I really fully believe in doing myself is I really believe in participating in learning opportunities myself and memberships. So I have just finished studying with somebody called Stu McLaren. I joined his wonderful, the membership experience course. It was really fantastic. And something that I am just implementing as a result of that are these roadmaps for success. And in this case, this is an eco-printing roadmap for success. But what these have is they have levels so that you can clearly see when you join the club, where you fit in, which level are you at now. There are milestones and there are action steps. So if you join the club and you have not eco-printed before, for example, in this particular roadmap, you would be in level 1, which I have titled From Onions to Fabric. And that's the foundation information about eco-printing in the dirty pot. So rather than you getting totally overwhelmed within the library, all you would need to concentrate on are the action steps in level 1 and completing them. And I will know you have completed them because they include things like having your first sessions, sharing images of your work so that you can have feedback. Once you complete them, then you move on to the next stage. And so by doing this, it just means that you don't have to jump ahead and you get a really, really good solid foundation. And here's actually a comment I can see has come in from Karen. And Karen is saying that she absolutely loves the roadmaps and they are so easy to understand and do. And thank you, Karen. It's great to see you here. Thank you so much for coming in. Karen is a club member. And the thing about the roadmaps as well is that I have got in the various milestones and the action steps, there are active links. So if you see you need to do X, Y, or Z, you just click on the words in the action steps or milestones, and it brings you straight into that section of the library so that you can do the only thing that you need to do to progress to the next stage. So within the library, from the eco-printing perspective, I will share pro tips with you that help you achieve the color and the results that you want. And obviously you're going to get my experienced guidance about the pot liquid, the fabric, your vegetation, the metal use. And bear in mind, the boot camp was 1% of information. The club, let's say it's 99%. And then from the felting perspective, you can elevate your felting game because I give you insider tips and techniques to help you achieve spectacular results. Now, when I initially launched the club, in fact, if I step back a few years, when I initially started teaching online, I was teaching eco-printing and felting, but I also taught some separate felt making courses. And that was probably back in about 2016, 2017, long before COVID hit. I was actually teaching how to wet felt online because before I ever started eco-printing, I taught felting internationally. And the club has evolved in such a way, or my practice has evolved, and I am now doing more eco-printing than I am wet felting, but I still am felting. So I like to combine both techniques. So I can show you, for example, if you find the physical aspects of felting difficult, I can share with you how to replace all that heavy duty rubbing and rolling with using the tumble dryer. It's an amazing process. You don't need to have a felting machine or anything. If you have a regular tumble dryer, that's one way that if you are finding the physical aspect of felting difficult, or if you don't have much time, I have step-by-step videos in the library to share with you how you can felt flat felt, and you can also do sculptural felt using the power of the tumble dryer. That's just one little thing in the library. Then Nuno felting is another really fun and very, very popular felting technique. Now, in this case, I have created a Nuno felt wrap combining silk fabric and fiber to create the wrap. And this was felted in natural undyed wool. And then afterwards, I eco-printed it. Sculptural felt. There are step-by-step tutorials, videos, information about creating felt vessels, about creating felt pods, about felt bags. And sculptural felt is actually really interesting because from the eco-printing perspective, that some of the questions that have come in relation to the boot camp, and recently from a different area online altogether, was how do we eco-print pieces like, say, a felt hat or a bag or something that's three-dimensional. And I just thought that it might be fun to share a few images here with you, just so you can actually see me going step by step through this bag. Now, the video tutorials of doing this are in the club library, but here I am laying out onion skins on what is a very simple felt bag. This would be a really good project if you are new to sculptural felting and you want to make a little bag with separate handles. This is a really good project to start with. So in this case, I am putting onion skins on my little bag that I recorded. I'm rolling it up and putting a eucalyptus leaf under the string. I'm making sure to tie it very tightly, and I'm actually leaving about an arm length of string so that I can tie that to the handle of my eco printing pot. And here what I'm doing is I made some felt cords. Again, that tutorial is in the library, but I also have a felt cord tutorial on YouTube. That little bundle that I'm wrapping up, those are the cord handles for the felt bag that I am eco printing. And then after that was processed in the dirty pot, again, we've discussed that obviously over the last few days, it came out of the dirty pot. Now, what you're actually going to see is, because the felt is that bit thicker, this is going to have some paler areas where the dirty pot liquid didn't penetrate through the fabric as much. And if I had been eco printing a felt hat or some other three-dimensional piece, I would have just squashed it flat like I squashed that felt bag flat. And here I am removing the onion skins. I'm showing you what the handles look like. And here's the bag after it's been washed out and dried. So you can see that it's not as dark looking after it's been washed and dried and ironed, and I've added the handles. That's a really nice bag, and that's how I would eco print three-dimensional pieces. Now that bag, when I finished it, you know, the bottom comes out. It's not flat like it was when I wrapped it up. And so that's how you would do maybe a felt hat or I mean a commercial felt hat. I don't mean one you've made yourself. It's how you would do three-dimensional pieces. So back to giving you more information about the club. So as well as sculptural felt, from the felting perspective, there is a lot of information as well about making purely decorative pieces, about different ways of combining fabric and fiber. So in this case, this particular wall hanging here, it was the first piece of mine that sold at a solo show in 2016. And it's part of a series called the Dry Stone Walls series. And we have these beautiful old granite walls here in Ireland. And on my small farm on the property, the granite walls divide the fields. And that's what gave me the inspiration for these stone-like pieces. So the colorful pieces that look like stones on this felt wall hanging, those are eco-printed silk. And so I combined the eco-printed silk with the fiber, and you can see that it comes together and it forms a wall hanging. And then don't let the changing seasons hold you back, because I do understand we're all in different parts of the world. And this means that we have access to different vegetation, and we may be here, for example, at the moment, we're in the summer in Ireland, but if you live in New Zealand or in Australia, you're in the winter. But there will be things you can do at any time of the year, whatever the weather. And the other thing that I think is really important, none of this is a competition or a race. You work at a time and pace to suit yourself. And there are times when you will be quieter and times when you will be more active. And so what exactly does the library or does the club contain? Well, obviously there are loads of step-by-step videos in the club to take you through the process. These are real videos of me working in my studio. Some of them are professionally shot, but many of them are when I would set up my tripod and camera and record myself. So you see me working, you see the highs and the lows and the things that are successful. And I'm very open with people. If I do something and I don't have the success that I want, I'm also happy to share that as well, because it's important for everybody to understand that when you are working in this more environmentally mindful and health conscious way, not everything works as well as you hope. We're not using the chemicals to fix color. So we have to understand that the seasons, the plants we use, they do influence what we do and also how we prepare our fabric. And sometimes things don't work as planned. Other times they really do. And in fact, this is probably a good time just to show you, here's something from a little testimonial, a very nice testimonial from Karen. And Karen says here that the highlight of her year has been participating in the Eco Print and Wet Felt Club. So that's a really nice testimonial. So thank you so much from Karen. And as well as the step-by-step videos, there are plenty of PDFs and checklists for you to download. We have a club-only Q&A session every month and a training every month, either with me or with an invited international artist. And there also will be Q&As after the training session. And so this is a really good opportunity for club members to have very small group sessions with me where they can share the work that they're doing, ask any question whatsoever, and get to know the other club members better. There's a lovely atmosphere in the club, and well, I think there's a nice atmosphere in the club, and people are really friendly. So we do have a private Facebook group, and that's where you can upload images of your work, ask questions, ask for feedback, as well as asking questions in the relevant sections on the library. But the Zoom calls are where we can really make connections with each other and get to know each other on a personal level. Then we have periodic hands-on Zoom workshops. So they have been great fun. And I will later in the week, I will announce the next one. I just haven't had time to put all the information together for that yet. But the last workshop that we did, it took place over 2 separate days. So on day 1, we actually made felt. We had 3 Zoom calls. I shared a step-by-step tutorial with new videos about making a scarf, a long scarf with holes on a small table. So this was somewhere that you could learn how to make a longer piece within a smaller layout. And obviously people didn't have to felt if they didn't want to, because not everybody who joins the club is a felt maker. But the fun thing is that most people who join the club purely for eco printing end up becoming felt makers because they get inspired by what other people are making. Maybe drop me a comment if you are a felt maker or an eco printer or both. Just drop a comment, and again, it's fun for Shauna and I to see how many of each join in the various live streams. So the second session of that hands-on workshop, we had another day where we all eco printed. And so because people live in different parts of the world, I would make sure that there will be Zoom sessions early in the morning Irish time, in the middle of the day, and later in the evening, so that regardless of where you live in the world, you can participate in those. You can join at least one and maybe 2 of the sessions. Many people actually join them all if they can. And that's also important to state for the live calls every month. 1 month I have them early in the morning, and that's much more suitable for people in, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. And then the next month I have them later at 6 o'clock, and that's more suitable for people on the, further west, so in America. But all the sessions are recorded and available in the library afterwards, so nobody will miss out. You will have access to all those anyway. Then, as well as, the obvious eco printing on fabric that we all start with, and the basic information, eco printing in the dirty pot. We eco print on paper. There's information and step-by-step tutorials about doing tannin and iron reactions without using traditional powdered mordants, because you get a different reaction if you use a powdered mordant and if you don't. So tannin and iron reactions. Simplicose is really interesting. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have even heard of simplicose, but it is a plant and it's what's called an alum accumulator. So simplicose is a plant that grows in some hotter countries, and it accumulates basically alum or aluminium sulfate in its leaves. And so there is an expensive but very efficient plant-based mordant called simplicose. It needs to be used in a very special way. And I participated in a natural dyeing week with a very well-known American natural dye artist and stitched resist artist called Joan Morris. And the main reason I participated in that was I wanted to learn how to use simplicose. So that's also something that I share in the club. There's some basic information about making an indigo vat and, you know, combining that with print, and then printing on leather. At the end of July, I will be recording videos about printing on leather. So that's something I am excited about, but it hasn't been uploaded to the library yet. So that will be coming at the beginning of August. The videos are getting recorded at the end of July. Then many people ask about working large, you know, printing large blankets or bigger bits of fabric. So, and also, you know, how to fold pieces. Well, obviously I have, you know, videos and step-by-step videos about that in the library. And you might be interested in sewing garments and then printing, or sewing accessories like tablecloths or napkins. And in fact, this top that I'm wearing myself today, I made this a number of years ago. It was a cream vintage Japanese kimono silk, and I made it according to a Japanese pattern book that I have. And I wore this for quite a while as a cream top. But eventually I thought it started to look a little bit sad. It didn't get a stain, but it just didn't look the same color. So I then went ahead and I eco printed it. So you could sew garments and then print them, or you could print fabric and sew garments. You could felt fabric, nothing to do with eco printing, and then sew that. And also I share about how to dye your felt, or, you know, your wool or your silk, your protein-based fabric, primarily using eucalyptus leaves without using a mordant. So this fabric here that you can see, it's handmade felt, and the goldy orange colored fabric was dyed with red, giving eucalyptus leaves, and the other fabric was eco printed using leaves from my own trees. And this was actually made into a coat. We had a challenge called the Brooklyn Coat Challenge, and there were some just absolutely fantastic pieces made during that challenge. So all the information, the step-by-step videos for making the coat, all of that is in the library. Upcycling clothing is a big passion of mine. Anything that helps the circular economy. So there's plenty of information about clothing and how to deal with pieces with, you know, odd shapes and sleeves, etc., etc. So I suppose the question really is, you know, what your commitment is like, and, you know, whether you're ready to up your game and avoid the overwhelm. You know, are you committed to mastering the eco printing in the dirty pot process? Are you interested in sustainability in the environment? And do you want to elevate your wet felting? You might be asking, how much does the membership cost? And is there a money back guarantee? So here comes the nitty gritty. The membership is open now until 11:59 p.m. on Monday. And it's an investment in yourself of $99 US dollars per month, or $990 per annum. So if you pay the monthly subscription, or the annual subscription, apologies, as some people choose to do, it's the equivalent of getting 2 months free. And just to put it into perspective, if you came to me for a workshop that was from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon, you would be paying anywhere from 120 to 140 euros, which is more than dollars. And that would be for a one-off experience where you wouldn't have any videos or any information or any feedback afterwards. This is access to me all the time. I answer all your questions in the club or through the Facebook group, etc., and you've got all that library of content. But there is a full 14-day money back guarantee, because the last thing I want somebody to do is to actually decide that they would like to join. It is an investment, but you are investing in fast tracking your success and getting results, the results that you want, obviously, with my help. So there is a full 14-day money back guarantee. So if you join the club and you decide you're going to pay the annual subscription and you want to leave within the first 14 days, there is a no quibble money back guarantee. So you can have a look in the library, you can, see if it's for you. There's a no quibble guarantee. Obviously, I don't really want people to join and quit just for the sake of it, but I never want somebody to be unhappy. I want to work with people who want to work with me and learn from me. So there's a full 14-day money back guarantee. If you pay the annual subscription and you choose to stay, it renews the next year, or you can leave and it doesn't renew. That's absolutely perfect. So it's in US dollars. Now, if you choose the monthly option, it's 99 US dollars per month. And there is also a 14-day money back guarantee. So if you decide it's not for you before the first 14 days are up, you get your $99 back. But if you pay the monthly option and you decide after, let's say, 2 months or 3 months, if your circumstances change and you don't want to stay in the club, all you need to do is cancel your subscription before the next monthly payment is due. And so you're not locked in. So you're getting amazing value and feedback from me. It's like a subscription, let's say, to something like Netflix. You have access to all the library content, all the videos, the live streams the private live streams every month, my feedback, my support, answering your questions, a private Facebook group. But if you choose to leave at any stage during the year, the monthly option is the one that you need to choose if you're not 100% sure. But if you're absolutely sure and you want to skyrocket your textile practice, that $990 for the year does give you 2 free months. Now, the link, I've put it in the video description below. And in fact, Shauna, I think if you could put it into the comments, that would be great, please, just so you know where the link is. So the link will be in the video description below. Let me just remove that. And if you have any questions for me, now would be a really good time to ask the questions. And I just have a couple more testimonials here from people who are in the club. And Anne has been a great new member. So Anne says, not having a creative bone in her body, but wishing that she did. She would often try to learn a technique such as eco printing, but she needed more than an overview. And then she says, very kindly, along came Nicola and my world changed. Her step-by-step tutorials have given me the confidence I never had. Now I am addicted to eco printing and enjoy the benefits of the eco print and wet felt club. Thank you, Nicola. So I would like to say thank you, Anne, for that really nice testimonial. And I think one of the wonderful things for me about facilitating the club is just seeing how supportive everybody is of each other. We all want each other to succeed. We are not in competition with each other. We are sharing everything that we can to help each other be successful. And people share tips with me, I share tips with them, because we all live in different parts of the world. Becky, for example, who's a member, Becky Young. Becky, we had at one stage a discussion in one of the live streams about finishing paper and maybe using beeswax or some sort of a medium for finishing paper. And Becky has a lot of experience with paper and other art in America, and she was able to give us all a link for something that she said was excellent for finishing paper. So we share things. That's the sort of thing, the feedback you get from other people, it's really fantastic. And here's Tammy. So, or sorry, here's Gillian. Gillian is in Australia. Now, Gillian is a very, very experienced quilter, felt maker, and stitcher, very experienced. And she initially joined me online for an eco-printed felt bag, a short course, and then became a member of the club. And she's just saying she's had a whole new world opened up in her textiles work. And she kindly says that I'm a generous and detailed teacher, ready to answer everybody's questions. Her practices are ethical and sustainable, and she's always up for the next challenge. And my only face-to-face workshop this year, I'm actually teaching in Geelong in Australia. The class booked out in 5 minutes, believe it or not. And I am very excited because I will be meeting Gillian there as well. So I am really excited about that. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask them, because I don't want to be just rambling here. There's no point going on for too long if you have questions. But there is something else. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the club, I also go through how to prepare your cellulose fabric using soy milk or yogurt or milk as a binder, because that can give you very much more colorful results than the rust water dip. So I'm going to just look and see. Okay, here's a really good question. If I start on a monthly subscription, can I later change over to an annual? I would have to ask my tech expert, but yes, I would be able to facilitate that with a little bit of prior notice. So yes, if you would like to do that, that's something that I could facilitate, but I would need to talk to my felt or my tech expert there. And here's a lovely comment actually from Karen. Karen is saying, Becky is the best. She's my friend because of the membership and being in the club. And honestly, that's exactly what it's like. It's like having a tight-knit group of really close friends that you can chat with and have fun with, and that you share the same passions. So if you have any questions, please just drop them as a comment now. If you don't have any questions, obviously you may want to think about this. I will, if you're watching the recording and you want to join me again tomorrow morning, this live stream was at 6 p.m. Irish time, but at 8 a.m. in the morning, I'm doing another live stream to go back over the information again and answer any questions. It will be much more suitable for people living in Australia and New Zealand to join me live tomorrow. So if you have questions about the club overnight, please leave them as a comment under this video, and Sean and I will look at them in the morning and I will try to answer them for you in the next live stream. So I'm not sure, Sean, if you're still there, but I would ask everybody just, I think we don't have any more questions. I really look forward to welcoming some of you to the club. And there's no pressure, and there is that full money back guarantee. So Cheers to all of you. Thank you so much for being part of the bootcamp and now the club launch. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow, but I look forward even more to welcoming some of you to the club. So over and out from Ireland and from Greece. Thanks, everyone. Bye.